Okay, please do let me know once you can see it.
Yes, sir, confirming.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Jason. I'm the Workstation Business Portfolio for Lenovo, right? And today I'd like to take this session to actually share to you most of the trend that we are seeing, right? But in terms of product, I will quickly cover it also. What do we offer and what type of the model that we have in the industry. But today it will be majority in what we see, right, for the next 5 to 10 years, especially in the workstations markets, right? This is my email address, right? wjason@lenovo.com. Apologize for the missing N, right? Do feel free to write to me or the VSF team for the VST ECS team for more informations, right? So before that, right, I think in the industry, a lot of people has been talking about IR 4.0, right? The industry revolutions, right? There's so many technology in this IR 4.0 terms, right? And what are they, right? These are the 12 key technologies that we see. But because of due to the limitations of the time, right? Today I'll be more emphasizing in AR, VR, right? How would you able to use AR, VR to actually enhance your daily productivity and also to help you to improve better in terms of showcasing your product to your clients or even present your product much more immersively, right? It will lead you to more contents that you'll be able to share to your clients and also to your customers, right? Okay, so continue to what we see in terms of the industry trend across Asia Pac, right? Of course, first of all, we see the enterprise VR that is significantly growing over the next 3 years time. I think from now is like next year, we eventually see a significant growth in terms of the demand in the enterprise VR industry. And of course, everyone is talking about deep learning, AI, right? There's a lot of this industry that is booming, right? A lot of people is actually developing AI in order to improve the user workflow, to improve their daily productivity, or even to help them to enhance and improve their daily workflow that they might need in terms of in CAD industry, in M&E industry, right? Across industry, right? As you can see today in the Autodesk world, right? A lot of software have been enhanced in the AI features, right? To help the user to improve their workflow by fastening up the simulations that they might need, or even other add-ons, plugins that they might need during their workflow, right? So as my personal sharing, I felt that when it comes to AI, a lot of people might think AI is very difficult, but let's put it a more simplified way, right, to understand AI. As of today, if let's say we use our daily handphones, right, capturing images, right, it auto beautify your face, it's also considered as one of the AI technologies, right? So don't see AI as a very complicated things, right? In fact, it's have been simplified across the past 5 years. Consider the AI intelligence that we have implemented into most of the devices that we will see around us. Okay, so let's back into the VR, right? As I mentioned, VR is going to grow very significantly for the next few years in terms of whether it's using in showcasing your products or eventually is being presented to your client. But in terms of immersive technology, we actually breaks down to 3 different categories: the AR, the VR, and also the mixed reality, right? These are the 3. We call it as the solutions that we will be able to provide to our client in order to improve their, I would say, product presentations to their client, right? In order to more showcase it in a more, I would say, a more futuristic way, right? I will share more information on how it's going to look like, right? So as we know, traditional AR, right, it's all about using a tablets, right, in showcasing your products to your clients and render everything in a single tablets model itself. It does not really require a very powerful machines to do so. As long as you own a handphone devices or tablet devices, you will be able to achieve the augmented reality, the AR environments, right? So if we move into a VR, it will be more going into a virtual world reality, right? A lot of people is talking about the meta world, right? The virtual realistic design, virtual realistic, when you're talking to your clients or when you're talking to your colleague, you tend to move into a meta world, right? In order to collaborate further or collaborate more efficiently to your together with your employees or together with your co-colleagues, right? This is all what VR is about. When you as a person, you move into a virtual reality world, right? And in terms of XR, right, the mixed reality is where it's the combinations of the AR and also a virtual reality. That means you will still see the place that you are in. At the same time, you will have the devices that brings you into a virtual content. So it will show a virtual content in front of you. I'll share you more information later on and how it looks like right in the XR world. So in terms of AR, right, which are the use case scenario? There's a lot of industry that we really can implement this AR into. Either it can be medical, education, retail services, or even some of the industrial design industry, right? You can really use the AR in order to improve your collaborations between your clients and also your colleagues, right? So people tend to understand much more efficiently and also understand it much more easier, right? The things that you're trying to present or the product that you're trying to present, rather than you just showcase them in a 2D or even on the paper itself, right? So what will we able to do, right, in terms of the AR industry? Of course, there is multi-monitors that it can be done using our AR devices like the A3 and also the A6. I will share more information. It can actually replace your monitors, right? Have you ever come across the movie of Iron Man where you tend to see where he wears specs, then the whole of the monitor itself is being displayed in front of him, right? We consider it as an AR technology, right? And indeed, Lenovo, we have such products already, although it's not as high res as what you've seen in movie, right? But somehow it will be able to replace your existing monitors, right? As all of us now is working from home, right? In setting up a 3 monitor in front of us, it tend to be very space consuming, right? So eventually Lenovo will come out with these A3 devices. It's a specs itself that actually being replacing your 3 monitors in front of you with a single specs, right? So other than that, there is also a remote assistance, and also you can use it as a 3D visualizations and also some of the overlay informations that might needed in your training courses or in your viewing contents, right? So these are the so-called augmented reality use case that we see for now. So these are the products, right? Like I mentioned, we have I call this as the Iron Man specs, all right? Iron Man goggles, right? No matter what we call it, but in Lenovo, we call it as a Thin Reality A6, right? This is one of the devices that will be able to replace your monitors in front of you, right? Personally, I tried it, right? If you need like 2 monitors or 3 monitors in front of you, right? But by setting up 3 monitors, it will consume a lot of space. So we just give them one Thin Reality A6. Indeed, you wear it on and you'll become a 3, I think it's a 24-inch based on the size that I usually see. So a 24-inch monitor in front of you with a single goggles, right? So again, we also have the more entry versions, right? The A3 versions, right? You can see this also offer the very similar features itself. It's just that it comes with less features, and also the resolution itself is not as high as the A6, right? So that's the main difference between the A6 and also the A3 products. So quickly move on into the virtual reality, right? As I mentioned, we have AR, we have VR. So now we are in the VR industry, right? So VR is really, you put yourself into a virtual world, right? So what you're going to see in the virtual world, right? So in the virtual world, it can be either used in the automotive design, engineering design, specifically in the collaborations design, right? Between your colleagues and also your employee across the world, right? You're able to collaborate in terms of doing a single product, a single design. Examples like let's say if we are trying to come out with the let's say handphones, right? A new handphones design. By collaborating via Teams or collaborating via papers, emails, you won't be able to have a real-time design collaborations, right? You have to send your data over and over again to do adjustment. But with this collaboration in the virtual world, you were able to immediately discuss what should be changed, right? In terms of colors, in terms of the design, in terms of the age, right? You'll be able to collaborate it efficiently with your client across the world into the meta world itself. So these are what are the use case that to be used in the virtual reality of design, right? Of course, there's more. You can use it for game development, right? I think the most that I see across the AP market, which is the Asia Pacific market, is people tends to use VR in the architecture industry. Why I say so is majority because people tends to save the cost in building an actual showroom, right? So they tend to move away from building an actual showroom for their client rather than give them a virtual reality content for them to able to see, right? Repeat it, right? Whenever they can bring the content home and try to review it again, how's the property is going to look like, right? How the building is going to look like after the renovations, right? To let their customer have more time in access into their products, right? Rather than the customer need to visit the showroom one time, second time, and the third time again to make the final decisions, right? So these are the changes that we see in the architecture industry. So you will ask me, right? What are the contents? How are we going to create the contents, right? In terms of contents, of course, we're also working closely with a lot of software vendors, like people like Autodesk, people like there's even more of them, right? That is doing this kind of content. You can actually reach out to me separately in terms of if let's say you need to know more information about who should we look with, right? Who should we look for in terms of creating these contents, right? So in terms of the platform itself, of course, not just content, you also need devices that to view the contents. So in terms of the virtual reality, all right, we have a lot of hardwares that to support you all in terms of the content viewing itself. Of course, the most I would say economics version will be the smartphone VR, right? Everything go into the smartphones and you'll be able to convert it using I would say a very consumer-like product in order for you to play through, right, what your content is tend to show, right? But for you also can choose to have a more interactive type of VR caves, right? You'll be able to sit into a small room. It will be able to show you at the 360 degrees of the viewing, how it's going to look like in terms of when you're in the products or when you're outside the product itself, right? But of course, the more traditional one will be the VR devices. Of course, there's a lot of VR devices in the industry also. There is from $100 up to 10,000 USD type of VR devices or HMD that is also available in the markets, right? There's a lot of them. So based on your budgets and also based on your requirements and also based on the contents that you're trying to promote into your clients. Okay, so I'd like to share a showcase with you all in today's sessions, especially in the VR usage customer. This is one of our customer, the Aston Martin car manufacturer. They are also one of our official workstations partner, using our workstation in designing their cars, next generation of cars, and how they use the VR technologies to actually promote the car to their clients, right? As we all know, we are in the midst of pandemic. I would say it's not yet really endemic. We see a lot of supply shortages. Even car, when we buy a new car, you also have to wait at least 6 months to 1 year. So how Aston Martin actually promotes their car during this pandemics, right? And whenever the car is not yet fully assembled, they will be able to promote the products to their clients, right? So how they really use the AR and VR is they use it to be as a development process, right? In designing the cars, in terms of designing the interior design, exterior design, create it into a digital twins, right? and also use some of the one of our Vajjo headsets, all right, that we collaborate with Vajjo technology in order to showcase best clarity and also the best contents for their clients to see, right? And not just in the design and development industry segment, I mean, it's also go into training simulations and also to be used as a marketing and sales tools, right? So for VR, it's not just about using it to do design, right? We can also use it to do simulations. At the same time, after the simulation, we can also use the devices to use it as parts of our marketing and also sales enablement devices, right? So this is the whole process of it, how the AR, VR, and also XR deliver the value change to our client and also customer in promoting their product in a much more creative way, right? In Lenovo, we actually collaborate with Vajjo, right? Vajjo is one of the, I would say, a VR devices provider. We call it as an enterprise VR grade. When I say enterprise VR, all right, it's not the VRs that we've seen, like things like, I would say, Oculus, HTC, those are considered as the consumer type of the VR. Right, in Vajjo, we are considering them as the enterprise VR. Right, I will share you more of it. What is how we differentiate between a consumer VR and also enterprise VR products. Right, in Vajjo XR3 and VR3, we have two. XR stands for the mixed reality, and VR is only support into the virtual reality world. So what makes a difference, right, between a consumer grade VR and also enterprise grade VR? Right, of course, in enterprise grade, it offers a wider features such as a human eye resolution. That means when we talk about human eye resolution, that means the resolutions that is being shown in the VR devices is as clear as what we've seen via our eyes, right? And of course, that is also coming in with the eye tracking, right, to enable your clients to be able to know, right? Example, when you are on the VR, you wouldn't know what your client is actually looking at. Right, so with these eye trackings, you're able to show it much clearer which parts of the product actually attract the most attention to your client. Right, I will demonstrate it later, and also some of the photorealistic XR, and also some of the hand tracking VR and also XR, like the Iron Man technology. Right, you can design things via your bare hands. Right, change the design of it, plug in and plug out of the devices or the product itself. Right, using hand tracking features, right? Those are the difference, right, between the consumer grade VR and also a commercial grade VR. Okay, like I mentioned just now, right? Can you see a difference here, right? Like I say, what is the human eye resolutions is all about, right? In the typical VR headset on the left-hand side of the picture, you will tend to see the content is tend to be very blurry. And in fact, people like me who is wearing specs, right? Whenever we put on a VR goggles itself, we tend to try to not use it more than 5 minutes because it's very dizzy. The reason it's being dizzy is because of the content is so blurry that it generates dizziness into our brain. So therefore, customer won't be really enjoying using those type of VR whenever it comes into whenever you want to walk through your product, right? You expect at least 15 minutes of wear time so you can go through the whole product itself. So this is one of the difference, all right, between a human eye resolutions and also a resolutions that in the traditional headset VR, right? You can see clearly on the human eye resolution, it actually give you a higher PPI and also a sharper image in terms of overall differences. Right. So of course, one of it is the full natural view, right? 115 degree, which is our eye view, right? 115 degrees Celsius in terms of the view itself. And also it comes with a better color accuracy. It's really meant for people who wants to have a really high resolutions of content, like the Aston Martin car manufacturer, right? They tend to want to showcase their products to their client at the best content as possible. Right, so that's why they choose this Vajjo headset as one of their output devices, right? All right, I will skip this one. This is more into the specs itself. We can discuss further later. And I would like to move into the XR. So this is how the XR looks like. right? It's a combination of your reality with the virtual reality. So example, if you want to know whenever you want to put the robotic arm in your offices, right? Example, you will be able to clearly define how big and how much spaces it really needs, right? To actually put this robotic arm into it, right? In order to make you, to help you to, it's actually helping you to plan your placement, the robotic arm placement much more efficiently, right? In the XR reality. Okay, so I'll skip all these technical specs itself. Like I mentioned, Aston Martin is one of our customer who use these combinations of the module headsets and also our workstations in order to bring out the most of the contents from the cars itself, right? But for more information, because of the time that is given, you can also go into the YouTube page, go and search for Lenovo Plus Module, right? We have a YouTube channel there in order to showcase how Aston Martin actually use our workstations plus the Module technology in order to give their client a better view, even without the actual car is there, right? So, like I said, the targets or the things that we're trying to achieve here is to actually brings out the most, right, from the contents and also from the from the detail itself of the products to your client, right? If let's say you have a client that is really into detailing, right, and also very into clarity of the products, right? These are the one of the combinations that you can consider, right? Right, like I mentioned, there is also eye tracking capability, right? The devices itself is actually tracking your eye movement, right? This is very important, is because for you to know what your client is actually looking at, right? Let's put examples right here, right? So examples like the eye is actually tracking on what your customer is looking at. For example, if you are into a retail store, right, in the VR, so you'll be able to see people is really looking into the old boy products, right? That's actually actually get the most attention out of it. For example, if you are showcasing a design, interior design, right? So if let's say your kitchen design is the most attractive one, right? So the clients or you yourself, when you provide these solutions to your client to view, you yourself will be able to capture the data, say, hey, this client is interested in my kitchen design, right? So these are the one of the features that to be offered in this commercial VR. So you'll be able to help you to close your sales much more easier, right? Maybe you are not just selling your property to them. Maybe you can sell the kitchen design concept to your client, right? This is the data that we'll be able to achieve out from the eye tracking features that is in the commercial VR. Okay, so these are the two VR headsets that we collaborate with in our workstations team, the VR3 and also the XR3, which I have briefly demonstrated. And of course, with all these high resolutions of details, contents that is being shown in the VR, of course, you also need a very powerful workstations to operate those contents. So we actually recommend a few models like our P620 workstations and also our P1 and also the P16 mobile workstations for your clients to actually connect to and able to operate the detail much more smoothly and without any jittering or lagness, right? So as this, I would say this VR solution might sounds 5 years down the road, right? Might sounds very expensive, right? In an indirectly way, I would say it might sounds very expensive. Indeed, it is, right? I would say the headset itself is almost cost like near to $8,000 US, right? For the devices itself, even without the hardware to operate them. So in Lenovo, we actually offers the client in a more affordable way. So if you have, whether it's a reseller here or you are a client here, you want to adopt this next generation's enterprise VR, we actually can come out with a lease to use, sorry, not lease to use, device as a service, right? We actually able to be considered as a lease to use program, right? For your client, example, you can be on a subscription base. Whenever your project finish, you're done with your projects, then you only pay across the next 3 years or the next 2 years that you need these machines, whenever you need these machines. So in order not to own the whole assets by itself, you can actually subscribe these solutions with Lenovo, right? Okay, so move on to product. That's pretty much the VR solutions that we have as of today. It's more into the VR, I would say enterprise VR. It sounds very complicated. I wouldn't be able to share much more within 30 minutes time, but do feel free to reach out to me, right? If you need more information, who are the one that actually using them and how we'll be able to subscribe them, right? Do reach out to us for more information. First, go into products. Like everyone else in the markets, right? Product is a bit more straightforward, but we also break down to a few software, like the ISU applications that you can see on the right-hand side. There's so many applications in the markets, right? No matter it's CATIA, SolidWorks, Autodesk, right? We actually position it clearly for you, right? If let's say, example, you are using Revit, right? Autodesk Revit. So these are the models that you should go with in order to make sure your devices and also your software able to run smoothly. Make sure you are not under buying the hardware that is needed for your workflow, right? If let's say you are doing like BIM building modeling, right? So usually we'll recommend the P15V model and above, right? To make sure your content actually able to run smoothly, right? As of today, a lot of BIM is actually requiring this kind of ray tracing development, right? To able to show your client how the afternoon sun looks like and how the morning sun looks like, right? In terms of the design itself, I think it's a very, it's the trend, right? To impress your client, right? These sets of simulation actually require a better performance machine to be able to run smoothly. So therefore, in the Revit industry, we actually recommend the P15V and above models. Okay. So move on to not just mobile workstations. We also have desktop workstations for your reference, for your supports. Let's say you need a desktop workstations that you does not require mobility, right? We have the entry levels of 348 up to the dual socket P920 model for your needs, right? But I think most of the use case scenario in the Asia Pacific market, it usually only goes up to the P620 model, somewhere between the P360, the 12 gen processors, and up to the P620 models with the 3080 cards and also some of the 3070 Ti requirements, right? So that's the desktop mobile workstations and also the desktop workstation and also the mobile workstations portfolio that we offer. Okay, so I'd like to take a little bit of time sharing here, right? ThinkStations is our desktop workstation and also desktop workstation model. And the ThinkPad will be our mobile workstations naming. But of course, in Lenovo, we have more products to support you. All right, we have our monitors, we have our Lenovo tablets, we have our server, the Think system, we have the edge devices, we have our desktop, right, the Think Center. All right, in Lenovo, we not just offers consumer product, but we also are more into solution selling, right? When I talk about solution selling, of course, you can see many more here. We have the install screens. If let's say you have kiosk requirements, any reseller have kiosk requirements, you can also reach out to us for collaboration. For more information, if let's say you need like digital signage display, right, we also have such solutions for our client, right? As a lot of you might heard, Lenovo, we are actually moving towards the solution selling company, right? We are not just about doing transactional business. We are not just about just selling you i5, i7 workstation and full stop. right? We're actually moving into a solution selling. I think most of the resellers here, salesperson here, or even customers here, right? So which are the solution segments that we are actually looking forward to? We're actually moving towards the retail, manufacturing, smart city designs, and also more, right? These are the three key industry that we are really looking forward to. Like example, if let's say you are looking for smart retail, right? You have seen the VR demonstrations, how the smart retails can look like using a VR technology, right? In order to let your client to see. And of course, there's more, right? You can have a digital display where you no longer need to change your pricing every month, right? You can have a display below of the product itself by changing them automatically. All right, these are the things that we'll be able to do in our smart retail, right? Of course, in manufacturing, all right, smart manufacturing with the edge devices, all right, IoT devices, we also will be able to support you. Like example, if let's say you are looking into a AI tracking system, right? AI tracking attendee systems, right? In order for you to track your employee ins and outs, or even to able to enhance your security security CCTV with AI features, right? We'll be able to do so. And of course, the smart cities, all right, I have a very good customer testimonial here for Philippines, for Manila. In terms of in Manila, we actually have a recent win, right, which we are doing the smart city solution for traffic management in Manila, right? We know that traffic in Manila is somehow, I used to be in there for 3 to 4 times, right? I tend to feel is whenever it's peak hours, then it's very suffering sometimes, right? So therefore, the Manila traffic management is actually come out with the smart AI solutions. You can see there is multiple new posts that is installed into most of the main road itself in order to control the traffics, right? So whenever there is certain lengths of the traffics have met, then the red lights itself will automatically turn green. On top of that, it will be able to also track the car flow, right? These are the things that we actually is doing in the Manila cities for now at this point of time. So this is one of the spotlights that I would like to share. And of course, winning together is our so-called our key targets this year, right? It's not about just selling. It's not about just telling you the product specs. It's not about just telling you the what our products can do, right? We are selling in a solutions group for now, right? If let's say you need to use any of our products into implements into our systems, right? Like the traffic control systems, right? Like the smart retail solutions, all right? Those are the things that we are moving forwards to, right? But of course, if any of the reseller here is into this industry, all right, do feel free to reach out to us for more collaborations that we can do and to be use these solutions as a worldwide offering out from Philippines, out from Malaysia, or even out from the Asia Pacific markets. All right, I think with this, this is my last slide about the workstations again, right? If let's say you need to know more about what are the specs that we offer, right? We have a dedicated link here, the techtoday.lenovo.com /workstations, right? You'll be able to find more information in terms of the Pro VR that I just demonstrated just now, and also some of the remote workstations if needed, and some of the customer testimonial that is also being recorded in this link itself, right? So other than that, I think that's pretty much from my end, right? I hope it's not too confusing, but let's say if you are into IR 4.0 deployment, right? And let's say you are into a VR deployment, or let's say you're into VR deployments, or even AI deployment, do feel free to reach out to us separately, and we can have a more specific discussions in terms of how we will be able to help you to implement and create a solution for you to sell to your client. Right. With this, I end my presentations, and thank you very much, everyone.